gentlemen, my wife is going to check the volume by putting on the headphones. But
hello, everybody. Welcome to a very special, very nostalgic episode of Find Your Beach podcast. I hope you're listening to this because we drove
thousands of miles
to get back in time to record it for you. Actually through illness and near death.
And in a state of a confederacy of states that are in disarray.
Yeah.
We crossed the South, the deep South.
And the not so deep South, and just the cool South, as the liberal elite would call it.
The South with food that you can take pictures of.
Yeah, and all through an unbelievable boom from the Omicron variant.
Omicron really putting its foot down, saying, I'm here. I tweeted this. It didn't do well, but I said, if a mild flu was a car, Omicron would be Oprah.
I didn't understand that.
She is giving it out. You get a car. You get a car. You get a car.
Got it.
Not very well done. Kind of 20 years old.
Maybe if you'd said brand new car, maybe then I would have gotten it.
It doesn't matter, really.
Anyway, lot of crazy shit happened. Omicron, basically, we want to apologize to those of you in Texas who had tickets to the shows. We got to Austin, and the next morning, great show in Austin, by the way.
Yeah, really fun. Creek in the Cave was great. Your downtown needs some work.
Cobb's was fucking awesome. San Francisco was great, but we wake up on, what morning was it? Tuesday?
It was Tuesday, and I felt what I thought was just 2 days of travel turned into what I was pretty sure was just a bad cold.
That's sort of the problem with COVID is most of the time it's just symptoms of being on the road.
Yeah, you always kind
scratchy
of feel
throat,
a little sick
fatigued.
After 2 days of no sleep and 2 days of air travel.
Yeah, gastrointestinal issues.
Yep.
All of it. So anyway, Andy goes to this clinic to get tested, and I was fucking around, and then got these series of texts being like, babe, where are you? I tested positive. And then I was like, oh, this asshole is just trying to get me to text him back. So I did.
Says a lot about our relationship.
So I did, and I was like, what? And he was like, no, I really am positive. And I was like, fantastic.
Yeah, she was a good sport about it too. Rosebud, I will say this, never gave me shit. Not once. Never was
what was I going to do?
I don't know. I could see you being like, you ruined my tour, something like that.
It's not really even a tour. It was like 4 shows. But
I know, but still.
But what are you going to do? I was like, listen, now we don't have to perform for San Antonio. So
apologies to San Antonio, but also just drive to Austin.
Yeah.
Save us.
Please.
Please just drive to Austin.
But we are performing in San Antonio. The dates have been rescheduled.
Yes.
We're performing in Houston, San Antonio, and
Dallas.
And
You'll
Dallas.
be at the Addison Improv for the whole
January
weekend.
5th through January 8th. So you can check the Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio Improv websites for the updated dates. And if you had tickets to the previous shows, contact the club and they will make sure that you get in on the other dates. But it is Andy's fault. So be sure to mention that when you call.
It's my fault and I deserve it.
But as you got this diagnosis.
Yeah, I was going because I had shows in Canada this past weekend. And to get into Canada, you have to have a PCR test. And so I was like, where am I going to get a PCR test? And I found one that was quick.
Right.
Luckily, I found one that was quick, because if I would have got one that would have taken a day or two, I would have been in Canada already with finding.
That wouldn't have happened because you wouldn't have been allowed.
I would have been at the border of Canada.
Right.
But
you were able to get it quick because you are in the 1%.
Yeah, I'm a scammer. I'm good at scamming.
Yeah.
And I showed
You're
up.
part of the billionaire class.
Yeah.
And so you were able to get a rapid PCR from a free clinic. And that gave us some news that we didn't like. But we decided, we decided we would cancel the flights. We quarantined in San Antonio for 24 hours before we decided, fuck this, let's get in our rental car and drive to New Orleans because there's better food. Okay.
Yeah.
So we went to New Orleans. We stayed in a hotel room. We quarantined there, and ate delicious food and watched pretty much all of Dexter.
Almost all of
the
Dexter.
previous seasons.
Yeah.
The young seasons, and chilled. But we kept getting these calls, basically being that all of our friends, I think it was like 17 of our friends, got Omicron in one day.
Yeah, I think the same day that we were driving to New Orleans, we were just and it was like funny, like at first people would get sick, like in the previous parts of the pandemic, and somebody would get sick and you would be like, oh, fuck, man, I hope you're all right. Or like, do
It was
you
like
need
one,
anything?
maybe two people that you knew with COVID at the same time. This was like,
Almost all our friends.
it was like everybody was like picking up new Jordans or something. Like it felt like you wanted to keep up. After a little while, you were like, well, why don't I felt like, why don't I have it yet?
Yeah, because I swear, like, the way people were getting it was like we all went to a party.
Yeah.
And it was like like it was in high school. Remember when like everybody would go to a party during an assembly?
Yeah.
And then like somebody would find out, and then eventually like 15 kids would get suspended.
Yes.
It felt like that, where you were like, all right, they called.
Another one down.
I'm suspended too.
Yeah.
I'm suspended. We're all suspended.
Yeah. And but I still, even last night we got home, I tested again and I'm still negative. And I don't know how the fuck this happened. I'm just like,
I mean, she has been taking pregnancy tests, so that might be the answer.
oh yeah. I have been. Yeah.
You may have COVID. You're
I've
also
just
not
been
pregnant.
spitting on a pregnancy test, hoping that I get the 2 lines.
Yeah.
Um,
But just so everybody knows, I'm okay. I pulled one of my best scams that I've ever pulled. I think this might be top level scamming, which is that when I was in Louisiana, I talked to Ari Shafir, and he told me that he had taken the monoclonal antibody treatment, and his infection had gone away in like 2 to 3 days. So I said, well, that sounds nice. That sounds great. And so I started looking it up, and I called the Louisiana Department of Health, and they said, you do not get this. You are not old, and you are not unhealthy. And I even did like one of these. I was like, but what if I smoke, huh?
Yeah, I remember hearing that from the bathroom.
And they said, that does not matter. And then I was like, you know what? We're going to try on a wish and a prayer. And I called one of the clinics, and that Southern hospitality kicked in so quick. She said, baby, you get it if you want it. And so the next morning I went in and...
Which is also what Andy says to me.
Yeah.
When I'm like, I'm in the mood.
Mm-hmm. Baby, if you want it, you get it.
Yeah, he sings it.
Baby, if you want it, you get it.
Yeah.
And she usually doesn't want it anymore at that point, but...
It's the mating call that...
Demating.
Yes.
It's the unmating.
So Andy goes into this clinic.
And everybody else at the clinic, it's in a hospital. They make you wait outside, and then, like somebody in a hazmat suit comes down and gets you. Not really, actually. They were just wearing masks. They didn't care about COVID. But everybody else that was there had been born when alcohol...
What do you mean they didn't care? Oh, sorry. I was about to step on a joke.
Oh, no. I wanted to say they wore hazmat suits, but all they wore was N95 masks. That's all they had on.
Yeah.
And they knew we were infected.
But that still means that they care about COVID. They're wearing a mask.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you expect if they're actually dealing with people, they're riding an elevator with me.
Right.
And they know that I have COVID.
Yeah.
Anyways, but everybody else there had been born when alcohol was illegal. And it was bizarre because I was like, are you sure you're going to let me do this? Uh-huh. And they were so nice. They put me in my own room with my own reclining chair, got the IV, got lightheaded.
Yeah, if you were to look at this room, it looked a lot like the rooms that that they put you in when they tell you to jerk off in a cup.
I would even say it really looked like a chemo setup, but if you were in the Ukraine, it was like a... It was an old chemo, kind of, you've been in Chernobyl, so come sit in this chair. Right. But they had a flat screen and a lot of channels, and it was weird. I forgot this about hospital beds. The little controller thing it has all your stuff, your temperatures and your call the nurse and your TV. But it also, the volume on the TV you can't control. You control a little speaker in the thing. So it was funny because I would like change the channel and then I would hold the little speaker up to my ear so I could hear what was on the TV. I felt very much like I was talking into one of those old phones.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like to. But they were very nice, and I only almost fainted. And then I got my stuff.
I love that a place that can shoot antibodies for a new disease into you hasn't figured out headphones or Bluetooth.
No, I mean, I think that I could have done my own headphones, but I didn't.
Yeah, babe, that wasn't, it was just a joke. It was just a joke.
I'm so sorry.
It's all good.
I'm so sorry. But you know what's funny is, so, you know, when you get an IV or a shot, like there's that thing in your back of your head where there's like the bubbles, right? Like you think about the bubbles in an injection because you're like, those bubbles are bad. That's how people killed themselves in movies. They like blow the bubbles into their IV or whatever. And so I'm like looking at the IV and I'm like, that's a bubble. There's a bubble moving in that IV. And then the little IV machine has an alarm. And when the alarm goes off, it goes air in tube, air in tube. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like already conscious of the bubbles. And then I hear this like beep, 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 beep. It's like air in tube. And I'm just like, excuse me.
Am I about to die?
There's and then they just all kind of laughed and they were like, that's if we pushed air into your blood, you're fine. It's just air.
Yeah. But you felt better afterwards? Tell people how you felt after you got it, because you came out. The whole process took what, 2 hours?
It took a half an hour to administer and then an hour of observation.
Okay.
But yeah, I felt like all of a sudden I had energy. I could smell. I never lost my taste or smell, but they were more accurate. You know, like I was like heightened senses. Things were kind of brighter. And then I came and got you, and we got on the road, and we drove 14 hours. But
because you had vampire blood.
Yeah, I felt good. I mean, it's weird because, you know, the funny thing is I've made fun of Joe Rogan for, I don't know, 2+ years now about this whole thing. But then Ari Shaffir,
second you got COVID.
Yeah, Ari Shaffir, who directly got all of his medical advice from Joe Rogan, told me about it. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm trying a Joe Rogan thing. And it's pretty good. I don't know if I would test negative right now, but I feel fine.
I mean, if I had gotten it, I would have tried the ivermectin pills. I really would have. I would have been like, fuck it, I'll try whatever. Because I've gotten to a point now where I'm like, okay, I did the vax, I did the second vax, I did the booster. I'm going to throw everything that they have at this thing. And I'm like, not worried. I mean, the reason why people are so freaked out about ivermectin is like, people were going out and getting actual horse medicine. Yeah,
they were just going to feed stores where you like take ivermectin and you give it to an animal.
Right.
And that's not the kind you give to a human. You give humans pills. It's like, I think if you get like a worm in...
You have to get a nurse to call it in too.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, like I had another friend who got COVID this week who tried it and who tried the ivermectin and was like, oh yeah, I feel way better. And that doesn't mean it's for everybody, but that's the difference between, it's like Joe isn't on his podcast being like, I'm a doctor. And then people are listening to his podcast and going, you're not a doctor. And it's like, well, he never said he was. You know what I mean? He's a podcast host. He's just talking about his experience.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I mean, I think that he has a lot of like wackos on there because he's a showman, you know? He has like weirdos on there that interest his audience and bring people back. And some of them are like bad scientists.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that the ivermectin has proven successful in countries where they don't have access to normal medicines.
Right.
So it was a good alternative for people who couldn't get access to the right antivirals and the right vaccines. And it proved to be pretty successful. So not that I'm not going to take ivermectin. I don't think people should take ivermectin, but it's one of those things where you're like...
Why don't you think people should take it if it works? Why?
Well, I think it's bad for you long term.
Yeah, but
it's
if
like
you have
bad
COVID,
for your lip. Yeah,
nobody's going to take ivermectin and be like, you know what, I'm staying on this for the rest of my life.
I mean, I'm fucking vaping with COVID. I can't say anything.
Yeah.
I drink fucking 9 cups of coffee a day. Ivermectin's not going to hurt me any more than, you know, how much microwaves I have in my brain.
Well, the important thing is we got through this week and Andy learned that he's a hypocrite. You know?
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing.
Well, the problem with Joe is that he does have some things on there. Like the problem is that like you can't say like don't trust like your health department because they want you to do these certain protocols. It's like we took a little trip down Conservative Alley yesterday in the car, and we decided to listen to Ben Shapiro. Very annoying voice. Good radio kind of guy though. He talks fast.
Talks fast and talks out of his ass with 100% confidence.
Yeah. But the thing is like this whole thing, it's like, it's not going to kill you. You don't have to worry about it. It's not going to kill you. They're making us frightened. But it's like yeah, but it might kill your neighbor or your grandma or your friend's grandma.
Or
whatever.
You. It might kill you.
Yeah, it could kill you.
Like, he's saying this shit. It's such a dumb conversation to have. But,
and also like the fact that they're like, I was saying this yesterday. It's like they're like, this is silly. People die all the time. Old people die all the time. Now, if 5 people die in a terrorist attack, it's the worst thing that's ever happened. If a baby is aborted, life is so precious. But if 750,000 people die of a virus, well, that's just life. You know?
Right.
That's just life.
So here's basically what they said about Omicron this week. And if you don't live in New York City and you live outside of New York City, just want to let you know it is coming.
And you're going to get it.
You're going to get it. And it is absolutely coming. Get your booster if you haven't already.
It's fun. I mean, it's like nobody is mad at you for not doing anything for a week. I haven't had that yet.
Yeah. Well, you could say the same thing about COVID, but top government health officials, this is from the Washington Post, by the way. Top government health officials warned Sunday that the United States is likely to see record numbers of coronavirus cases and hospitalizations as the Omicron variant spreads rapidly and forces Americans to once again grapple with the dangers of a pandemic that has upended life around the globe. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I think that is going to happen. We are going to see a significant stress in some regions of the country on the hospital system, particularly in those areas where you have low level of vaccination. Fauci, the nation's leading infectious disease specialist, said on CNN's State of the Union when asked whether the United States could see record numbers of cases, hospitalizations, and deaths. He described Omicron as extraordinary in its transmissibility, which with a doubling time of 2 to 3 days. Which is exactly what it was. Crazy how quickly our friends got this shit.
Yeah, I think
it was like every other day somebody called us and was like, "Yeah, I got it," or like 4 people would be like, "Yeah, we got it," and this person got it, and this person got it, and this. All of New York comedy has it.
Yeah, and I'm excited for tomorrow because that's when they release the new data on the next doubling, and I'm sure it's going to be insane. I'm sure it's going to have like double, twice as fast as they thought because everybody in New York has it. Like asymptomatic, symptomatic. Almost everybody I know has it with a little symptom. Like, I don't think we know anybody that's asymptomatic, do we?
Yeah, we do. We know a couple people who are asymptomatic who have it, but they're still like, they have like a sore throat. They kind of sound like me right now, which I don't know how I don't have COVID. I've been in a car with him. I've been kissing him. I've been
in the South.
Eating your butt.
Eating my butt, playing it like a trumpet.
Yeah, like a what?
Trumpet. It's a
trumpet?
trombone, but a trumpet.
Okay, is that another instance of tour?
No.
Tour?
Okay. Hold on. We are going to stop the podcast right now.
Why?
Just because we need to get to the bottom of this. This has been ongoing, and we will post about it. We've done a live about it, but we need to get to the bottom of this. Mm-hmm. If anybody is a linguist or somebody that knows kind of the specifics of speech, I think it's important that we get to the bottom of how do you pronounce the word tour?
Oh my God. Tour.
Tour.
You said tour.
Tour. That's how you say it.
Tour.
Tour.
I'm going on tour.
Okay. Well, she's saying tour. I say tour. I also say
we need someone who has a degree in this to tell us if who's winning.
When we go right up ahead, it is there's a detour, you know?
It's a detour.
Detour. Okay, well that's not the word, but Sure,
It
that's
is
fine.
a word, and
Okay.
it's the correct way to say it, and you're wrong, and so is everyone who agrees with you.
Well, Siri didn't disagree. So
Siri's a fucking robot.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard Siri try to say Makala? She says
that
Mikala.
is an alien name.
No, it's not.
That
It's
is
a
from
Puerto
an
Rican
alien
name.
culture.
It's a Puerto Rican
Those
name.
people came from space.
Okay.
Those are space people. That's why we can't say their names.
You need help?
Do you think she's going to say Florgdash real well?
You need help.
This is Beep Borp, you know?
Okay.
I'm from Vieques.
So we have a listener who just moved in with her boyfriend into their apartment, and now this
Is this bad advice?
no, but I asked people to write in with their experience about
Omicron?
Omicron.
Oh, okay.
And so we have a listener who just moved in with her boyfriend into their new apartment, and now this Omicron shit is happening. That's all she said. That's all. I was like, okay, can you say a little more?
I think I know what she's saying.
But we got married and this shit happened, and somebody said that we should go back to our first episode to like hear what we were talking about, because she went back to listen to the first episode of Find Your Beach
When we were insane.
when we were insane.
Yeah.
And we weren't married.
We weren't engaged.
We weren't even engaged yet. And we were like, this is going to be over in like a couple weeks. Like, we didn't think that, we just had no idea. And we are going to do an episode where we go back and listen to the first episode together, because,
We'll do it for the anniversary,
yeah, we should.
for March.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's crazy to think that we are exactly where we fucking started.
Well, we are, but like things aren't shut
Yeah, but we just had to cancel tour dates to like
for us.
tour dates to
tour
come back
dates.
here.
Yeah, but I mean also like I could right now go to the Knicks game. They wouldn't stop me.
Right, yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, you're vaccinated? Head on in. Give everybody Omicron."
Yeah, I guess you're right. But I don't know. There's
This is
something
my
about it that
Omicron.
feels really depressing, and like more depressing than when Delta shit happened, because just everyone's getting it. So people are having to cancel.
I think Delta actually depressed me more. 'Cause
Really?
It kind of took the wind out of my special taping, because it was like that week, and it was like, ugh, you know, like it affected me directly.
Oh, yeah.
But also, I had a really fun time having COVID. I want to get into this real quick. Was she the only one that replied to the request?
As of now, yeah. But I sent
Okay.
it out like right before we started.
I want to shout out all of the new patrons. We have quite a bit, and I'm sorry that this took so long to get to you guys. But beginning, welcome to the beach, Kelsey Reiser, Zachary Smith, KTCM. Katie Way is a mahalo, so is KTCM. We have a new VI Beach, Zohar Ralt. Guess what? There's a VI Bistro this Wednesday, the 22nd at, what did we say, 6 p.m.?
Sure.
6 p.m. I don't know. We might edit that time a little bit, but it will be happening this Wednesday
I thought
night.
we did it earlier so that the...
No, we have to do it later so the West Coast can join.
Right.
Ben Ubbin, Meat Cot. I hope it's cat.
Meat cut?
Meat. It's like meat, as in introduce. Kaat. And she's a blimey wanker from the UK. She's paying in pounds. Thank you. We love that good currency. Sherry Martin.
Sherry Martin,
And
welcome to the beach.
Carol Ann, Carrie Benton, Tisha Moon, Lauren, and Alice S. Thank you guys so much for being patrons.
Thank you for
It
joining the Patreon.
Literally makes this worth it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. And if you're not subscribed to the Patreon, it's only going to get better from here.
Oh, and those of you who are Patreon members, we did film the entire day that Andy found out that he had COVID, and we did document the entire, all the activities that came after that until we had to fly our documentarian home.
Yeah, there was a funny period of time where I knew I had COVID. You guys all needed to go get COVID tests. And I just sat in the car
But we'll be posting that on the Patreon for the Mahalo members and up. So you will get that first, and then it'll be available to everybody else. But Mahalo VIBs, you guys get it first. You get to see it first. So that's another reason to join the Patreon. You can head to www.patreon.com/findyourbeach. And if you can't join the Patreon, leave us a review. Head over to iTunes and leave us a review.
And also, while she's looking up reviews, I want to say this. I want to get ahead of this. Some people might be saying, Andy, that was irresponsible of you to go on the road knowing you have COVID from one place to another, meaning you had to stop places, you had to do things. But get this. I double masked, I sanitized, we had bleach wipes, we let people know. And for the most part, everywhere I let people know that I had COVID, they did not care at all.
They don't.
I would be standing in an elevator waiting to go back up to the room after I'd done something, you know, like had to go to the car to get my vitamins or something. And I would say, hey, please stay back. I have COVID. And they would go, okay, cool. And then they would just stand there. And then I would be like, no, I'm sick. You need to stay away. And they'd go, yeah, sure, buddy. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, people can barely bring themselves to fucking put their masks on now. People are so done with this. Okay, Misha Toon. This is a review from Misha Toon on iTunes. Boisterous Merriment. She gives it 5 stars. Look forward to every week to new episodes and the Patreon. Thank you so much, Misha. And thank you to everybody who's left us a review. We are at 327 reviews.
Wow. We need to get up there with the Ks, you guys.
We do. We need to get up to the Ks, and we will. Get up to the Ks. But you guys, everybody who has left a review, you've made it so. It's so great to hear back from you. Otherwise, it just feels like we're fucking talking into a void here. You know, hearing back from the listeners, interacting with you guys, hearing what you think of it, even if it's just on the Instagram, like it just it makes it worth it because we're comics and we need constant validation.
Oh my God. I think you're going to really like this.
What's that? What is this? What are you about to play for me? Okay. Andy has hooked something up to the computer and it is not working.
That's not true. I'm just turning the volume up.
Okay.
Tour.
What did that sound like?
It sounded like the way you say it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, look how it's spelled. It's spelled like door.
No, it's
Sounds
spelled
like
two.
Anyways. Sorry, guys. That wasn't worth it.
You're just trying to prove that you're right.
No, I really actually, for a second, I was about to eat humble pie. Look at this, how it shows you how
You've
the
never
mouth
eaten
works.
humble pie.
Sure.
Wow. Shows you what your mouth is supposed to do. What that mouth do?
Sure.
Okay. But I want you. So we didn't really get to enjoy much of the road. It was all drive-throughs and Rosebud checking us into a hotel and me entering through like a side door. But there was one eventful thing, which was on Friday, we'd driven 14 hours.
Because Andy had his vampire blood infusion.
And I said, we're going to stop in Roanoke. And Rosebud picked a hotel.
But what did I say while I was picking a hotel? What did I say?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
Do we have to stop here?
I said, is there a better town?
Well, I'd always heard that Roanoke was a nice place. I'd always thought Roanoke was this sweet mountain town. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that it was a meth den.
That's what sweet mountain towns are.
Well, they used to be sweet mountain towns. You used to be able to go sit on a porch and listen to a banjo.
There are still sweet mountain towns, but they're not going to get a sweet mountain town without a pill problem. Okay, this is 2021, almost 2022.
Yes.
We just watched Dope Sick.
I know.
Did you learn nothing?
Well, I learned just recently that the Sacklers' lawsuit got overturned.
Okay, that's a totally different subject, and we can't get into it. But the point is, we got to Roanoke. We pulled into I hate to even say it, makes me want to puke, a Best Western.
Yep, and honestly, when she booked it, because I'd looked at a few places, and I was like, these look pretty nice. And then Rosebud took it upon herself to captain the ship, and it was It was a bad place.
It was a bad place, you guys, okay? We got in at 2 a.m. We walked in, hospital lighting. I'm talking fluorescent, bright, puts bags under your eyes where they don't belong. Hospital lighting, like surgical even,
like
cold.
Joe versus the volcano, Joe's office.
The decor was Ashley furniture.
Yeah, Ashley furniture after a murder and the house has been condemned.
Yeah. Okay. We're talking every leftover lazy boy chair from a frat party moved into this hotel.
You know what that's called in the new parlance for those couches that are at frat parties? Hot couch.
Yeah.
It's a hot couch.
Every chair was a hot chair.
That was the biggest turn for me, because like the whole thing was bad. I knew it was bad from the start. We had to call the front desk lady. She had to wake up.
I was just going to get into that.
Well, anyways, I was going to say, when we got in the room, I saw that there was
You're skipping ahead in the story.
Okay. I just wanted to say something about the chairs.
Can you wait?
Yeah.
Okay. So we get in. The desk is barren. Okay? There's no one there. There's just a number to call.
Yeah.
A cell phone number.
1-800-DESKS.
Not even an 800 number, which would have been professional. I had to call a random stranger's number who now has my number.
Yes.
A woman comes downstairs. Very sweet woman. Very sweet. Every tooth looks like a tombstone.
She looked like
every tooth was dead.
She just hit that sweet spot of over-the-counter pills where you're high but you're awake. You know?
Yeah.
She was
Pupils as dilated as possible.
Pin drops.
She walks downstairs and immediately starts offering me money off of the room before I've even checked in. Okay?
She also offered to let us use the pool.
Yeah, she said, "Do you want to use the pool?" I was like, "It's 2 a.m. We want to sleep." And she said, "No problem. I'm gonna find you a room." And I was like, "Yeah, we found the room. We booked a room. I'll just check in." And then this woman just starts talking about bruises on her face. Just starts explaining the bruises on her face.
We didn't say, like, there wasn't something like, "Hey,
where's that bruise from?"
How'd you get a bruise on your face, stranger?
This was just how she made small talk. She was like, "I fell asleep on the tub."
Which I actually think is probably normal. That is small talk in a sweet mountain town. How'd you get that black eye, Lurleen? Well, I fell asleep in the clawfoot again. You know how that is.
Yep, burnt the meatloaf.
Yep.
So after she's done explaining all the wounds on her face, and there were plenty,
yeah.
I said to myself, well, this is the saddest day of my life, and it's probably, an average one for her. So I'm going to stay here tonight, right? Because if she can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
We walked into that room, and immediately I felt like crying.
Yeah. It smelled like somebody had smoked a cigarette to welcome us.
Yeah, it smelled like someone had died, and then someone mourning them smoked a cigarette and covered it in Febreze.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I can't take my shoes off in here. I can't take my mask off. I'm itchy. I'm not even touching anything, and I'm itching all over.
And that's, at first, when I got in that room, I said, okay, somebody smoked in here. That's not that bad. I've stayed in really nice rooms in Las Vegas that smelled like cigarette smoke. Cigarette smoke is not the most evil thing in the world. And then I looked across, and there was a chair in that room, and it was like just a chair that somebody had brought in. It was not an above board, this is the Best Western chair that we bought for this region or this room layout. It was just a chair from a swap meet or a thrift store that had ended up in this hotel room.
It was the kind of place where this was a 3-star hotel, which makes the crematorium that was next door to it a 5-star Four Seasons.
Yeah.
Okay? So
you wrote a review.
I did write a review. I did, because I was helpless. And I just thought, I need people to know.
And I hadn't seen this side of Rosebud, really. I didn't know that there was a threshold. Because we all remember that this past August or July, Rosebud did swallow some of her pride and sleep in a yurt with her husband.
Yeah.
And that was a big step for her. So I said, she's a good sport.
Yeah. Okay. So I wrote, this place is disgusting. It feels like somewhere you'd stay if you had to drop your loved ones off at the crematorium. The front desk lady's very sweet and is probably the best thing about this place. And I just wanted her to know, because her self-esteem was clearly suffering.
We didn't want to beat her up when she was down.
I mean, she was bruised already.
Yeah.
So
she'd fallen asleep on a lot of hard surfaces.
Yeah. She said she fell asleep on the toilet.
Yeah. Well, we know how that makes sense about how you hit your face.
Yeah. But best thing about this place, but I walked in my room and immediately felt like crying. Someone definitely died in here and still lives here, and now I have to sleep next to a ghost because it's 2 a.m. and I'm in Roanoke, Virginia.
Yeah.
So, folks, if you're in Roanoke,
drive away.
First of all, I'm sorry. Second, if you're in Roanoke and you need a place to stay, don't
stay at the Best Western by the airport.
Don't stay.
But
get out.
To their credit, we did leave there like we'd seen a ghost.
Yeah. She
actually tried to stop us so that she could figure out. She was a great customer service person.
She really was.
She was like, "Oh my God, what's going on? Do you want a refund? Let me help you." And Rosebud was just like, "This is not gonna work for us." And so we just literally drove out the driveway, turned into the next driveway, got a room at the Hyatt Place, and it was great. They were really nice. They didn't charge us for mouse. We slept from 5 a.m. till 1 p.m.
What do you mean they didn't charge us for mouse? You didn't tell them mouse was there. We smuggled her in like drugs.
That's fine. They didn't charge us for her.
Okay. Well, the point is, don't stay in that town. Get out.
Get out of
Roanoke. Get the fuck out of Roanoke.
Yeah.
Okay? And that will be the title of this episode. Roanoke, Virginia is hell. It's hell.
I want to see something, though, because I honestly have only heard good things about Roanoke. So it's bothering me that, that it was this bad of an experience. Because I'd actually wanted to go there for a long time.
Did you?
Yeah, because I heard it was this cool, like Richmond is a great town.
Let me tell you something. If somebody is riding their bike around a hotel property at 2 a.m. in a military jacket, you're in Roanoke, Virginia.
Wait,
and you need to go.
There's an American Horror Story Roanoke.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Andy, it's not a good place.
It looks like oh my God, there's been a lot of native sacrifice stuff happening there.
It's not a good place.
Oh my God, there's a lot of blood on the land there.
Can you just believe me? I'm from Virginia. I'm telling you, Roanoke is shit.
I believe you.
It's a towny hellhole.
Oh my God.
If you like it, if you have like ties to it, you need to get out. You need to build a life outside of the home that you came from. You are a victim of brainwashing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how to help you. You have to help yourself. Okay? We were in that Best Western and we left. We got up and we left because you can't wait for God to help you in those situations.
He's not coming.
He's not coming. God is not in those places. God has left the Best Western in Roanoke. So can you get off the computer, please?
I'm just trying to find if there was anything that we missed, and it's all just like views of the city from outside of the city. Mm-hmm. That's like the best things to do are like leave the city.
Yeah.
Go to a hill above the city.
It's a girl holding apples.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get apples anywhere.
Yeah.
If apples are what you're going to Roanoke for, you don't live anywhere near a Whole Foods.
There's a pinball museum. We missed the pinball museum.
Do you know how shitty a place you have to live for there to be a pinball museum? Not that it doesn't sound fun. These places are cute. They're fun. It's a nice thing to do if your only friends are your cousins. But you have to, and if you love, T-shirts with wolves on them, then yeah, you'll love a pinball museum.
You know the fun thing about a town like Roanoke, though, is that it's got a college nearby. And so that if you want to see a band that you heard on the radio in like 1997, they're probably going to be by in the next month. You know what I mean?
What
gin
is
blossoms.
wrong with you? Why would you need to go to Roanoke for that?
It would just be like a fun experience. I saw the gin blossoms in Roanoke.
That's the worst story anyone tells at a party.
Well,
The first line of the worst story that you've ever heard.
That's how you live your life?
I saw the gin blossoms in Roanoke.
I like the gin blossoms, okay? I don't know why you have to attack them. I saw them open for UB40 in like 1993. I was 11 years old. I was allowed to go to concerts by myself. Anyways.
I don't know what to say to you sometimes.
I know you don't, because I am a enigma. Sorry that we weren't all raised in the protection of the NSA.
Actually, you were. You were protected by the NSA.
Oh, just as a blanket protection? Mm-hmm. Not like they were protecting me uniquely.
Listen, I knew exactly what was going on with you. I mean, I know I said we were soulmates. I knew exactly what time we would meet. I knew exactly when we would fall in love.
This was a deep fake.
This was a deep fake to end all deep fakes.
You set me up. You honey potted me from years ago.
I did.
Did you plan this in the 90s or was it like in 2014 when we first met?
This was in 2014 when we first met, and I'd just gotten a tip off about the virus, and I said, well, if the virus is coming, I'm going to need someone to grow old with.
I'm going to need a strong,
like that
malleable
island
man.
in that M. Night Shyamalan movie. I need someone to grow old with very fast.
Okay.
And they said, how about this guy? His eyes are sunken in a little bit. Wow. And I said, he's perfect.
We had to go for my sunken in eyes. Like your forehead shouldn't have its own passport.
Listen, I covered it up. I did what I had to do. I put a curtain over these things.
Okay, fair.
Over these forehead wrinkles of mine, which, by the way, are a sign of wisdom. Mm-hmm. So, I love you.
I love you too.
And I did have fun with you this week, even though we are back to where we started, and it feels like
bigger apartment though.
Way bigger apartment.
Bigger apartment, more fun.
Guys, all I can say is, if you listen to the podcast, tell other people about it, because it will be our only form of income. Okay.
Soon it will be the only thing we get to do.
Yeah. Okay, so this listener who just moved in with her boyfriend.
Yes.
They found a 2-bedroom that works for them in Brooklyn. So their plan is that he's going to be staying in the other room if they end up having a second lockdown, which I don't know if that's the best sign, you know.
Wait, they're not moving in? Or
they are moving in together.
Okay. Into
a 2-bedroom. And they're saying that if there's a second lockdown, they're going to stay in separate rooms. And I'm like, well.
Why did you move in with each other?
Why move in with it? Exactly.
But I guess we did that occasionally, like in the sense that I wouldn't see you for 6 hours because we'd be in separate rooms.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is kind of nice. When we were in New Orleans, I said, I have to get out of here. I have to walk. I have to go for a walk because I've been with you for 5 days.
Yeah.
And you were perfectly sweet about it.
I mean, Rosebud got us one of the nicest hotel rooms I've stayed in a long time. And we got good food. I mean, it was great. We watched a lot of Dexter and
I'll tell you who got us that hotel room was the people that came to the shows in San Francisco and Austin.
You knew who else
So
came?
thank you guys.
A little rascal.
Mouse
Mousy.
was there.
Do you want to do a howl sesh?
She's not going to do it.
She won't do it. She'll do it outside.
All right, we have a bad advice question. Are you ready for this?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Bad advice question. This is from Lakin?
Yeah.
I think that's it. Bad advice question. What do you do in New York City when you're going there for New Year's Eve and your favorite comedian's going to be in Seattle? Like, seriously, what the fuck?
Well, it's not too late to buy tickets to the Comedy Cellar. I think they're almost sold out, but if you can, I would go and I would buy tickets to the Comedy Cellar, and you'll see some good comics. Not as good as your favorite comedian, probably, because they're working on New Year's Eve, which means they're more successful. But, you know, you'll see some good comedians.
But also, who the fuck knows how quickly this Omicron shit is going to spread. I mean, as of now, the shows in Seattle are still on. I will be going there no matter what. So
You know what we might do is if everybody has COVID by the time New Year's hits, we'll just do you have to have COVID.
yeah, you have
show.
to have COVID to come.
Or you have to know that you're in a room full of people with COVID. But before the city shuts us down, that'll be our backup plan. I do want to say if you are in New York that week though, Dave Attell will be at Caroline's the 4 days before New Year's, I think.
Oh yeah, you
And
should go
that's,
see him.
Getting to see Dave do an hour is everybody who likes comedy should do that once in their life because he's amazing. He's one of the best to ever do it. And then otherwise, just do fun New Yorker stuff like hide and quarantine
And feed pigeons.
buy supplies.
Contract HPV.
Yeah. Go and wait in line at a food bank, even though you don't need it. You'll meet people. You'll talk. You'll learn about life. Ride the subway without a mask and sing loudly.
Also, stand at the top of the stairs in the subway to have a very meaningful conversation with someone else without moving out of the way of
Right.
other pedestrians.
Talk on your phone loudly about personal things, and then when people look at you, say, What are you looking at? I'm having a private conversation.
Look away.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably sound advice, right?
Also, there's some great outdoor, stuff. You can go see architecture.
It's January in New York City.
It's not January yet.
Well,
It's New York. Do whatever the fuck. If you go into the city, something will happen that will be interesting.
yeah.
Just follow.
You're not in Roanoke. So you're fine.
Lucky.
Okay, I think that's it for this week, you guys. Please, if you have any stories you want to give us, any Omicron updates, any crazy stories of how people got it or how quickly they got it, let us know.
And also, thank you guys very much for all the well wishes. I'm fine. I feel good. I think I beat this thing.
Yeah, you beat it. It's a cold.
No, but people were really nice. Fans reached out and they
That's
were like,
sweet.
"Hey, that sucks."
That's sweet.
And also, sorry to everybody that maybe possibly got exposed. You're gonna get it somehow, but sorry if I'm the guy that gave it to you.
Yeah. We love you. Wash your hands.
Do you have any dates to plug? Like you rebooked some of those dates. You already said those days.
Yeah, other than Seattle and the dates in Houston, let's keep it at that because I do have tour announcements coming up in February or January, so I don't want to blow the surprise.
I'll be in Hershey and New Tripoli the last Thursday and Friday of January.
Okay.
All right.
We love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.